Welcome to Tracy Erin Talks, where functional medicine meets personal development. You want to be living your best life, but the overwhelming amount of health information out there is confusing, and the way you think about yourself is keeping you stuck. You know you are meant for more. As a women's health specialist, my aim is to simplify and equip you with the tools you need to be beautifully balanced from the inside out. Welcome back to Tracy Erin Talks. Today we are talking about my love-hate relationship with essential oils. This episode has been on my heart and mind for many months, and I'm excited to bring it to you today. Mostly, I want to share my own personal experience and what I use in my own home, and the initial hesitation I had to diving into this world. But let's start first with a little bit of history. So, if you remember, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe longer, 20 years ago, essential oils came on the scene. And I started to hear friends talk about it. I saw it on the original Facebook and social media sites. I started to see alternatives to medicine as there were websites and recipes and all kinds of DIY things about how to use essential oils in your home as a form of natural medicine and as an alternative to some of the more conventional things like dishwashing soap or laundry soap or even shampoo or baby soap, how to wash diapers, all these kinds of things. So it piqued my interest because I have always been interested in natural health and the alternative view of things. So, way back when I joined Young Living, like a lot of people did, and I placed my couple orders and I started to use them around my house. I made my own cleaning solutions. I would use them when my babies got sick, when my children got sick. I would use them whenever I could. And truth be told, I didn't mind them. I enjoyed them. I especially enjoyed the smell, the aromatherapy they offered in my house. I had a diffuser in main parts of my living room. I had dish soap that all of a sudden smelled wonderful and gave me the impression that it was truly disinfecting things. I used their popular thieves for anytime somebody started to get sick, and I would rub it on babies' spines and the bottom of the feet. And of course, more soothing things in baths like lavender, etc. And it was an enjoyable relationship for many years. But you know what I found over time is the oils just began to stack up and collect dust in my bathroom closet. I wasn't using them like I started out, and I kind of lost interest in keeping up with the whole world of how to know what to use and when to use them. So honestly, the whole thing just kind of fell by the wayside for me. I stopped making monthly orders. I stopped making a lot of my own products. And I just used up what I ended up having in terms of my own personal supply. Well, as the years went by, I had friends who were talking about essential oils and ones that they loved and couldn't live without and what they used them for. And people poo-pooed brand names and said, oh no, you should buy these specific ones because those companies make too much money off of people and these are just as pure, and there's all kinds of opinions out there. And I didn't really know what to think. And honestly, it wasn't at the top of my interest pyramid. So it just kind of sat there in the back of my mind as I love it as a tool in my tool belt, but it's not necessarily my go-to. I did try some other brands throughout the years with mixed results. Eventually, when I fell into my own personal health journey and learned all about the world of mold illness, and I put high-tech air purifiers in every single room of my house, those diffusers no longer did any good because my air purifiers were now so effective at cleaning the air. I would diffuse some beautiful scents all day long, and I couldn't even smell them because my air purifiers were sucking it up. So even the act of diffusing became something that I got out of habit of doing. And so, other than dropping a couple oils in baths when kids were sick, or a couple drops on the bottom of feet when kids were sick, I really stopped using most all of my things and continued happily along in that way for many years. Now, it's important to note that I was never opposed to them. It's just that they didn't keep my interest like I hoped that they would, or maybe that the people above me when I purchased them hoped that they would. So, let's first talk about okay, we're going with the love hate thing, right? So it's easier to start with the hate part first. What's the bad? And then we'll go into the good. So, why am I even talking about this topic? Why do I have any sort of love hate relationship with essential oils? Why is it not all 100% love? So, there's not that many reasons, to be honest, but the reasons are meaningful to me. So, the first one really is that I don't really like MLMs, those multi-level marketing organizations. I just in general try to avoid them. They feel icky to me. I don't know how to explain it other than it's hard to trust people who are trying to tell me about a product that I should buy when they make money off of that. Right? That makes sense. So I just kind of turned away from anything that was remotely close to what seemed or smelled to me like an MLM. So that was my initial just opposition to the whole world of essential oils is why did they have to be so difficult to find? You had to go through a certain person. There was this whole income pyramid. And also, I had to have monthly spending minimums. Well, I wasn't buying that much essential oils, that many bottles. So I didn't like the idea that I had to make a commitment and I had to spend money every single month, no matter what, even if I didn't need any more or if I wasn't using any new products and still going with the ones that I had. Why did I have to make this minimum every single month? And for me, growing a big family and raising kids felt like that was a tight part in our budget. And eventually it just went by the wayside. Of course, there's this idea too. There's this skeptical, doubtful side where it's like, yeah, but do they really work? I mean, are they really as effective as some of these other things? Or do they just smell good? Is it placebo? I mean, there is a part of me that had some doubts about whether or not these things actually worked. And I wasn't really able to ever resolve those doubts completely. So, in light of the MLM structure, not wanting to have a monthly minimum spending anymore, and the doubt of whether or not they really worked, it just was like, I like them. I just don't know that they're for me. Also, eventually, when I became a health practitioner, it was just difficult for me to think about having one more thing, right? Like everything is available to me. And I have practitioner codes up the wazoo. I've got affiliate codes. I've got all kinds of things. But I really only want to recommend the best. And I really only want to recommend what I use personally and what I have seen get results. And I didn't have that experience quite yet. So it was just like when I saw them at conferences, when I saw the vendors or when I got emails, I just thought, no, this is one more thing that I don't need to source. I don't need to be a part of another group. This is just not where I'm going right now. So it was just an initial no from me. And lastly, I didn't want to be that one person. Come on. We all know that one person. When you go in and you give them a hug and they just like, whoa, they are doused in essential oils. They smell like an essential oil factory. I never wanted to be that one person. I also didn't want to be that one person who couldn't stop talking about something like essential oils, right? like CrossFitters. And hey, I could say that because I was a CrossFitter for a couple years. And I've never been a vegan, but vegans are similar. They have the stereotypical, whatever they're really into, they got to shout from the mountaintops and tell everyone about. Well, similarly, people who are really into essential oils are like that person. And I just definitely didn't want to be that person. So, those are several of the reasons why initially and for many years I was like, I just don't know. I don't know if they're for me. And I Used them sparingly, but avoided making them a part of my practice for several years until I had a defining moment which changed my entire view and perspective on essential oils. So last year, I was getting ready to go to my annual ECO conference with Cellcore. ECO stands for Exponential Clinical Outcomes. And it's an amazing 3 days from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., full of some of the best and brightest cutting edge speakers. And oh, we get so much information. I'm taking notes constantly. It's like better than a college class. You got your binder in front of you, you got your highlighter, your post-it notes, all your markers, and you are just enjoying and soaking up all of this information. And I end up getting really excited about coming home and sharing all of this with my clients and my community. And it's just a really wonderful time. Well, this particular experience was May of 2023. Yep, it was last year. And my family had been at the beach a week before this conference. We take an annual Mother's Day camping trip to the beach. We've done this for 10 plus years now. And we camp as close as we can to the beach, and we bring all of our own food, and we cook everything over a fire. And some kids sleep in hammocks. We have tents. It's just a really fun, adventurous thing that we do as a family. And one day while we were there, one of my sons started to get these puffy red eyes. And I thought, and I told him, I said, your eyes are really red. Are you okay? And he just said, oh, I think I just got sand in my eye. And I thought, I hope that that's true because in 7 days, I have to be home, turn around, unpack, get ready, pack, fly to Boise, Idaho, and be in some sort of state of health for 5 days so that I can participate in this event and come back home. And so I just, remained positive and thought, well, yeah, surely he just got, a little salt water, a little sand in his eyes, no big deal. Well, the next day he woke up in the tent and his eyes were completely crusted shut. I know what that looks like, and I knew immediately what it was. I knew that we were facing pink eye. Well, thankfully, I don't go anywhere without colloidal silver in some form. And on this trip, I happened to have drops. So I started dropping colloidal silver in his eye every hour on the hour. 2 days later, my daughter woke up with crusty eyes. And I just knew this is going to go through all of us. There's 7 people in my family. Even though we're outside this entire time, we are sharing space. We're sharing everything. I just thought this is going to go through all of us and likely I'm going to get it. So I started dropping colloidal silver in my eye. And we're now 4 days into this and it was not improving at all. I found a natural food store down at the beach and I got some homeopathic drops that I read lots of reviews on. Supposed to be very helpful, soothing to the eye, etc. I started the drops on myself and everybody else. And sure enough, it did remove some of the sting and the pain of pink eye, but it did not take away the goop, the oozing, and the bright red eye that is so characteristic of pink eye. So here we are a couple days in. I have used all of the colloidal silver. I have used all the homeopathics that I can. And now I am 3 days away from needing to be on a plane, flying to this conference and thinking to myself, there's just no way I can go in this state. It was so pathetic. So I called my friend at home who is an MD and has a practice and said, hey, can you call in a prescription? I'm desperate. He knows that I would not turn to bacterial drops unless I was absolutely desperate, unless it was essential. And this was one of those times. We were all suffering and I had a deadline. So he called it in. We picked it up at a pharmacy down south, about 7 hours away from our home, and I start using it on everybody. Nothing, no change. In fact, the people on the phone, both at his office and the pharmacist said, you should see a drastic change within 24 hours. I was expecting that and nothing, no change at all. Now, other members of my family are starting to pick it up, and now it's got like 5 out of 7 of us. And so we're feeling pretty miserable. Our trip ends and we come home and I'm starting to use the homeopathic drops just to manage the pain, even though it wasn't resolving the actual situation, the infection. I kept going on the colloidal silver. Now I'm using bacterial drops. Nothing is working. I have 2 days. I've got to pack my bags. I got to get over to Boise, Idaho, and I text my representative in Cellcore, and I say, "Hey, I'm in the middle of this eye infection. I don't know what Cellcore's policy is, how they would feel about me coming, but what do you think?" And he said, "Well, you're more than 3 days in. Just come on in. Just come on." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna bring like a little rag and I'm gonna dab my eye every 10 seconds and try to make it through." Well, I arrive, see my roommate, I see old friends, we go out to dinner, we go to bed that night. Every hour on the hour, I'm putting all 3 varieties of drops inside my eye. The next morning, wake up, go get our seats, and we're walking through the vendor hall, and guess who's there? doTERRA essential oils. And my roommate is like, "Oh, you should put some essential oils on your eyes." And I'm like, "Okay. I mean, but I've done all these other things and nothing is working. I guess what do I have to lose?" But literally had very little faith. We go over to the booth and we start talking to the people there. And obviously, I have pink eye. We don't even have to explain it. And my roommate says, "What can she use around her eye? She's been struggling with this. She's been using everything. Nothing is working." And so the guy at the booth said, "Oh, you need tea tree oil and lavender. You just need to rub it around your eye. Like, come out at every single break, come out at lunch, come out at dinner, use these tester samples and just roll it on your finger and then apply your finger around your eye, on the skin around your eye, not in your eye, just literally around your eye. Go wash your hands, go back to the conference, etc." So I decide to do that. Every hour to 2 hours, I go out to the booth, I get another little sample, I put it lavender, and then I put tea tree oil around my eyes. And as the day goes on, my friends look at me and are saying, "Tracy, your eye is not nearly as red." By the end of the day, my eye was white as like a normal white eye would be. I was completely shocked. They kept saying, "Your eye is getting better. Wait, next break. Your eye is even better. What are you doing? Your eye is even better." And I was like, "I've been putting these essential oils all around my eye." And by the end of the night, my eye was so much better. And I was like, "Wait a minute. Maybe I should pay a little bit more attention to this and maybe I should circle back to this whole idea that essential oils really are natural medicine." Well, I was just so thankful that my pink eye was resolving and that I started to feel better. Then the next day, we had day 2 of the conference, and I wake up with what appears to be a really terrible bout of food poisoning. It's coming out from all ends. It's 5 in the morning. I'm in the bathroom. My poor roommate is waking up to all of my noises of pains and cries. "How can I help you?" I'm like, We need more toilet paper. I need more towels. I have to clean all this up." It was a disaster. My body was violently trying to get rid of whatever was inside of me. And I just was thinking to myself, I just resolved this pink eye situation, and now this, I was in so much pain. And yet, I was in a good spot because I had friends who were health practitioners all around me. I had a chiropractor friend come push on and visit me in my room, push on my belly, and make sure it wasn't appendicitis. I had an acupuncture friend come put needles in, told me to lay there still for 20 minutes. I had a massage therapist come and work on me. None of them like actually moved the needle per se, but I felt safe in this environment with all these people who knew what to do. And eventually it was just determined, you just got to get all of this out. Keep hydrating here. Some electrolytes, get in bed, like keep taking showers, do whatever you need to do. All this just needs to run its course and come out. Well, it took me like 6 hours to get everything out, and I was exhausted and dehydrated by this point. I did continue to take electrolytes and I was drinking as much as I could without upsetting my stomach. And eventually I took a shower, got ready for the day, and it's like 2 p.m. and I felt like a semi normal human being. So I walk over to the conference, and you have to walk through the vendor hall to get into the conference. And I see the doTERRA booth and I walk right over there and I say, "You're not going to believe this. I was up all night with food poisoning. What essential oils will work for that?" And the lady's like, "Oh, lime oil. You need lime oil. Here." She pulls it out of her purse. She goes, "This is my bottle. I never travel without it. There's half full. Like, just take it. You just need a couple drops in some water. Take some right now. Take some in a couple hours. It's really all that you need." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Yeah, it's nature's remedy for food poisoning." I was like, "All right." So I started to take it and my pain went away. Then she tells me to take this roller ball of something called digestion with a Z, like digest zen. And I rubbed it on my belly. She sent me to the bathroom, rubbed it on my belly, kept drinking some lime oil. I am not kidding. By dinner time, I was a completely different person. Even, in food poisoning, you get rid of everything, but you still feel like wasted for hours afterwards. I was like returned back to normal within a couple hours, just with lime oil and digestion rubbing on my belly. All of a sudden was like, okay, I cannot ignore this anymore. These essential oils have turned my entire weekend around. They've changed the trajectory of my entire trip, and I felt very grateful for them. Well, incidentally, there was a sort of customer party, informal social type thing the following night, the third night, the last night of the conference. And I decided to attend that. And there were several people there who shared all how they use essential oils in their practice, how they use it with women's health, how they use it with detoxification, how they use it for inflammation, how they use it for gut health, to headaches, skin issues, everything. I just thought, you know, I'm convinced it is time for me to circle back to this and really start paying attention to it. So I ended up signing up with doTERRA right then and there, placed my initial order, and could not wait for these products to arrive at my home. So as I went home and I told my family about them, they were just like, "Wow, okay, I guess we're going to be back on this train." But I was really excited for the products to come, and I ordered a couple things that were really basic. And then the next month I ordered a little bit more, and then I ordered a little bit more. And here I am a year later, and now, if you walk into my house doesn't smell like essential oils. Again, I have these very powerful air purifiers, so diffusers don't really work for me, sadly. But, and you're not gonna see them all over my counters, and you're not gonna see them in every single thing, but there are some products that I absolutely have come to love, and I wanna share those things with you today. So, a year later, I am really benefiting from some certain things, and then I also use them in my practice, particularly in my balanced hormone solution group. So, what I'm loving personally, here's a list of things. I love frankincense. I have both a roller ball and I have the bottle where I can create drops. If you do one drop on the crown of the head during a headache, the severity decreases drastically almost immediately. I have also used it on sunspots. I've also used it on dry skin patches. I've used it. My daughter has a spot of eczema inside of her elbow on her right arm that she will get if she's having too much gluten. I will notice that this starts to flare. Put a little bit of essential oils on it, it's particularly frankincense, and it's gone by the next day and it stays away for months. So I'm loving frankincense for so many uses. Plus, it just smells heavenly. I also love lemon, lime, grapefruit, and tangerine. I'm a citrus girl. Give me all the citruses. I love citrus candles. I love citrus perfume. I love citrus in salads. I love citrus drinks. So these oils that are really concentrated, I will have a can of sparkling water with a drop of lime oil in it, or a drop of grapefruit, or a drop of tangerine or lemon, and it tastes tropical. It feels like exactly the flavors that I've drawn to and I love. So I use those citrus oils all the time. I also use them in cooking. Like if I make I do like a banana loaf for my family every once in a while, or not a banana, a blueberry loaf, and it will have a lemon frosting on it. Well, I don't have to have a lemon anymore. I can just do a couple drops of the lemon oil, and the frosting is just perfectly scented and flavored with a perfect and pure lemon. So I love that. I also love something called Meta Power Gum. They have an entire line for the metabolism, for blood sugar balancing. I do enjoy a lot from the line, from the whole line, but I particularly love their gum. Now, I will say that my oldest son has gotten really into bodybuilding, and he has a very strict nutrition plan that I put him on, and he's, interested in dropping his body fat percentage and all of his gym gains and everything. And he works at a barbecue restaurant. I mean, torture, right? Like he's around all this amazing food and smells, and he's serving all of this delicious food all day long. But he is very committed to his goals, and so he's strict on his eating plan. Well, I bought this gum for myself because I thought, you know what? In between meals or whenever I'm feeling that craving or I need to snack or something, I'm going to pop a piece of gum in my mouth, and it will increase that satiety and I won't turn to food. Well, he started using it and he came home and was like, "What is this magic? I can work an 8-hour shift and I'm no longer craving all the brisket that's on these plates or the cornbread or banana pudding." And so we both go through the gum quite regularly. I really love it. I think it's very effective. Something else that I love and I use nightly is from their Serenity Sleep line. I love their sleep stick. Their sleep stick is this really cute, easy to use little, it's like a large chapstick. It's probably an inch and a half or yeah, an inch and a half in diameter. You screw off the cap and it has valerian root in it. And it's really nice as far as applying it all over the chest. I can put it on my neck and it induces sleep really quickly for me. I also love their oil. I will take Serenity oil and I'll put a couple drops in my hand, and then I will rub my hands together and then rub it all over my pillow. And both my and my husband love that. And my kids love this too. It helps them to get to sleep. The Serenity bath bar is really nice in the shower too, especially when you shower at night before bed. It gives you all of those same scents that are really wonderful before bed. I also like a product called Terra Shield. This is a combo product for a bug spray. I find that just one drop around my ankles, if I'm outside, I live in Middle Tennessee. We have so many mosquitoes, we have ticks, we have all kinds of bugs in the South. So I love to use this all spring, summer, and fall long. And I just need one or two drops on my ankles, on my wrists, anywhere where I'm feeling like I'm starting to be bit by mosquitoes, especially, and it really, really works. I've also made a bug spray for it before, but I've just gotten more basic recently and just use one or two drops. And I can carry this in my car. I have one in my purse in the summertime. And so I'm always equipped with a bug spray. They have a really nice line too called Adaptive. And Adaptive is like they say nature's Xanax. It really helps the whole anxiety response in the body and to calm cortisol levels and the stress response. So they make a bath oil that is lovely. I love this. You just take a couple drops or half of a capful, add it to the bath, and it is like so lovely, so nice. It's not that it's just a nice scent, it's really nice on the skin, and I really feel a calming effect in my nervous system. Something that all of my athlete children use all the time is the deep blue muscle stick. I find my kids stealing mine all the time. In fact, I've just bought and purchased them their own sticks because they need to have their own supply because I was tired of going to search for my own, but it's wonderful for sore muscles, for soft tissue injuries, and it has that like icy hot feeling and scent to it, but it actually works. So I love that. They have an amazing On Guard line. So On Guard is similar to like Young Living Thieves. And from On Guard, I love the foaming soap in all of our bathrooms, and it lasts forever. You buy a larger bottle of a concentrate, and the foaming soap just lasts months and months and months and months, and it keeps everybody's hands clean and it smells really nice. I also love the On Guard toothpaste. It's really nice. It's not too spicy. It does have a little bit of a cinnamon kick, but it's really, really nice. Leaves my mouth feeling really clean. They also have a mouthwash that I am crazy about too. But perhaps my favorite thing from On Guard is they have little beadlets, like capsules. And I don't fly on an airplane without taking two before I get on the plane and two when I get off the plane. I love this On Guard. I've also used the straight up oil, just a couple drops on my tongue, but it's pretty potent. And I find that most people don't like that strength. For whatever reason, it's like, I don't know, breath freshener to me. But other people, like their eyes start to water and it feels too strong. So these capsules are really nice for traveling. Um, I love the roller balls of the tea tree oil and the lavender. Obviously, they help to cure my pink eye within a matter of hours. I also love oregano oil. Anytime my kids or me are feeling a little infection coming on, we rub this all over our lymph nodes and our spine and our feet, and it really, really helps. Also, that digestion. I love that anytime I have a little bit of a tummy ache, if I've eaten something that, just like, I don't know, makes me feel a little icky. I rub the digestion all over my belly and I feel better. I listen, I can't explain it. I can just tell you my own personal experience. Lastly, the things that I have by my bedside and I really enjoy are two roller balls that I use as perfume. One is called Whisper and the other one is called Passion. And these are part of a line that is like a natural aphrodisiac. So they have a sort of pheromone reaction. They cause like a pheromone reaction where like all of a sudden you feel your libido increase. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's a very beautiful floral, sexy scent. And so I keep those next to my bedside and I love the Whisper and Passion roller balls. They're so easy to apply and they last a good long while and they're easy to fall asleep to. So I love those as a perfume. Now, as far as my practice goes, I do use oils for particular situations. Like I mentioned before, if somebody needs a particular gut healing or reducing inflammation or skin conditions, things like that. But the ones that I rely on the most are these five things in my balanced hormone solution program. Lemon oil. I have all of my group ladies do lemon oil and water first thing in the morning. You no longer have to buy big bags fulls of lemon. Now, crushing lemon and making smoothies using the peel to so many bioflavonoids, so many polyphenols, so much good nutrients in the actual lemon. So I'm not saying don't ever use a lemon, but this is just so easy to keep on the counter and drop a couple drops in your morning water before you take or do anything else. So I love the lemon oil. In month one in my group, it's focused all on insulin and balancing blood sugar. So we rely on the MetaPower beadlets. So as I mentioned before, my son and I love the gum, but these little beadlets are these teeny tiny little like, okay, boba tea, that little bubble tea. Think like microscopic bobas. And they pop in your mouth and they have that cinnamon clove flavor. So also it's really nice as a breath mint. But it really helps to stabilize metabolism and blood sugar. So we use those during month one when we're working on the metabolic hormone of insulin. The second month in our program is all focused on cortisol and that stress hormone and the response that we have. So, adaptive, which is that nature Xanax, we use that rollerball all over ourselves whenever we're feeling stressed or during the day, and the serenity oil on our pillows at night, which help calm the nervous system and help us drift off into a deep sleep. Lastly, month 3 in the balanced hormone solution is all focused on the sex hormones, the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And so I love a roller ball called Clary Calm. Clary Calm is just really, really amazing for all of our hormones. It's a powerhouse when it comes to hormone balance. It's known to regulate estrogen levels, which is particularly helpful for anybody dealing with PMS or any kind of menopause symptoms. And just a few drops in a diffuser will work. But this one in a roller ball is mixed with a carrier oil so you can add it right to your body. It's also really nice for cramps. Like you can roll it right on your lower abdomen, lower back, and people say it takes away their cramps almost immediately. So, those are the 5 things that I rely on in my practice. And those are the other things that I rely on in my own personal life and use in my home. So, there's lots of ways that you can use essential oils. There's so many out there. If you would love to get started or if you would like to try a couple things that I have mentioned, you can know that I don't talk about anything that I'm not using myself. And I would love to help you get started. So let me know if there's one that's like, oh, that's interesting to me. I'd like to get started. I'll put some information in the show notes, just that will be helpful for you. But otherwise, I hope that this whole journey of mine that I'm sharing is relatable, that you can see yourself in it. And I guess the best thing I could say is just to keep an open mind, right? That was my lesson in all of this is the second you say, oh, that doesn't work or that won't work for me, we close ourselves off to so many opportunities. If, especially if you are dealing with a chronic illness or if you are dealing with hormone imbalance that's leaving you with daily symptoms, opening your mind is one of the most important and first steps that you can do towards healing so that you can try new things. You can experiment. You can be open to other people's advice and anecdotal evidence so that you can try something new. And who knows, it just might work for you. Listen, when I went to that conference with pink eye and then a day later got a massive bout of food poisoning, I had no idea that essential oils was going to turn my world around and upside down. So now I can get back into that world, feel very confident because I have all of the evidence that every time I use these, I actually feel like they're moving the needle for me and they're making an almost, in a lot of cases, immediate change. So I do love that. I love things to be effective and I love to be efficient with things. So I don't want 1,000 products. I just want the couple that work. You know what I mean? So anyway, I hope this episode has been helpful for you. I hope you learned something new about some oils that you might incorporate in your own home life or your own medicine cabinet. There's lots of ways to use them, as you can imagine. And I'd love to see you get started and start replacing some of the things that you buy at a drugstore for some common ailments with some essential oils that are pure and organic and really, really healing to the body. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Until next time on Tracy Erin Talks, stay beautifully balanced. Thank you for joining me today on Tracy Erin Talks. I hope you found today's episode enriching to your life. If you enjoyed today's content, would you consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review? That simple act helps this podcast get into the hands and ears of many more women just like you. Remember, anything you want and do not yet have will require a new set of beliefs, thoughts, actions, and a new you. I am honored to be on this journey with you as we wholeheartedly pursue true health and wellness in mind, body, and soul.